Hello. Hi. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. It's always exciting to see you all once a month. We do this for you. So we're happy that you're able to join us on this evening of October 17th, 2022. This year is almost gone. A lot of festivities coming up, a lot of eating. I hope you all are prepared for that because we are. Peter with me here tonight, and without further ado, he's going to go ahead and start with some updates for today.
Yes, so thank you, Myra. So the first update, some of you guys probably seen that the fuel transactions are not posting the way they used to do before the Apex thing that happened. With one of the actually additional update where we've discovered through this that it's possible to actually make the connection to be able to do the to generate the EFS TCS checks for lumpers even after hours. So that's also something we're working on. But just bear with us. Cool updates are coming up more and more. IFTA updates. There's a couple stuff on IFTA updates that's coming up this month. So I'm really excited about that. We have an IT team that's working on that. Yes, and I want to get into today's topic before we really get in. We'll take attendance. But just really quick, there's three topics or three things that I want to mention on today's topic, which the name of the topic today is "The Time is Now." The time is now. There's three things that I want to talk about. It's time to recognize the market for what it really is. Number two is it's time to challenge your thinking. And number three, it's time to discipline yourself. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about those things. So the first thing that I would like us to recognize today and to really recognize the timing is of the market. You've heard me talk about this. There's three markets that I'm referring to. Markets. There's the yearly cycle, there's the 4-year cycle, and then the 8-15 economic cycle. All of those have its significance. Check us out on YouTube videos if you want to learn more about that. But they're all very important, and understanding exactly what they mean for you, where you are today, this is really important. We're towards the end of the year. We're about to be, right before the season for the Christmas, holidays, all of that stuff. Yes, and then we have the first quarter again and so forth. We're also in the midterm cycle. In the 4-year cycle, there's the midterm of that. The way I put it, it in many ways it actually correlates with the election cycle, the president's election. And the election that's happening this year. So all of those things put in, consideration. But the 4-year cycle is more than that for truckers. It has to do with equipment supply and demand. But all of those things are important. What's important to recognize, though, is that the markets do go up and down all the time. They have to go up and down all the time. It comes down even more violent, comparison as it when it goes up, and it many times it comes shock to you. Have you ever heard the saying goes like, well, the Christmas, just all sneak up on me all of a sudden. Like everybody knows when the Christmas is happening. That. Your family, if you have kids, they probably most likely, expect you to buy gifts and, have something under the tree. But all of it just, a lot of times it feels like it just kind of sneaks up on us, and when it comes to markets, it's very important. The reason why I talk about these things, the reason why I talk about the ups and the downs is because they do happen. And there's not much you can do about it being happening, but you can control where you stand in those and how you can prepare yourself and how you can thrive. and the thrive is the key there. Yes, but you know, it's kind of crazy that a lot of people are foolishly hoping that the market will always continue going upwards. And especially when it's at the very, very beginning, when you just get into trucking, you know, and this is your first time, it feels like, oh my gosh, this great loads, I got this figured out, like let's say a year ago, right? And you're just like killing it with loads and everything, like, you know, negotiations, it's all so easy. It's just almost handed to you pretty much. And it's easy to be fooled that will always be that way. You know, what comes up must come down. What comes down must go up. You know, I remember having a grandparent, or side note, you know, having this post on a wall of his house, and it said, "It will not always be this way." And it was during the hard times when they post that on the wall. So when the hard times passed, the kids were like, "Dad, let's take this down. Like that's not true anymore. We've passed through the hard times. Let's take it down." And he's like, "Oh, no, you don't understand. It will not always be this way," is true right now too. You know, because it's not always going to be good. It's not always going to be bad. It always overs changing. And it's a good news to you because, look, yes, everything that you've heard or probably think of what's going on in the market with the rates, it's not, I guess, end of the world if you know that there is an end to it too. So in a way, that's good news for you. Yes, but yeah, so what's important to understand about the market also is it's not I'm not telling you or saying that you know, like sky is falling type of scenario and it's going to be doom and gloom and stuff like that. You know, if you know what the market is, and if you can plan it right and really really just you know, partake in the preparation and then execution of it, you can thrive when everything settles. And to be the first surfer on the wave, that's the people that win the most. They get the best ride out of the whole wave if you're one of the first. When you know, and this is why I'm saying that it's important to understand there is no best time to get into business of trucking. You just have to get into business of trucking so that when you learn and go through all of these cycles, you can you know, put yourself after a first, second, third try, you will be able to learn and maneuver through these cycles where you will be able to succeed. Okay? Yes, but a lot of people are fooled by going out too quickly and then thinking that they'll be able to get in as quickly also, which a lot of times it's not true. And I've seen it myself, I've experienced it, I've seen it, my brothers do it, a lot of people do it. It's not, you know, it's not that easy to really plan it and you're like, oh yeah, well, this time I'll do it. And it's not the same as compared to being the first, you know, surfer on the wave when you prepared and executed. I hope you're understanding that. Yes, but the market goes up and down, and this is the opportunity for you to advance like a slingshot. I've said that before, for yourself financially. So if you can learn when to go in while everyone is running out, you know, this is another important thing. I've heard this before, and this is so true. It's kind of like shopping in a Black Friday sale by yourself. You know, we have holidays coming up, and everybody's so crazy about, oh yeah, this Black Friday, and you know, all of these deals that are about to. And people literally stand outside of,
They camp outside of the store for a few days.
yeah, for days, for
Friday.
weeks, just to get that one deal.
Yes.
Well, what's interesting is that for the successful people, for the people that been in business, and for people that really know what they're doing on the economic side or the financial side, what's interesting is the up and down markets for them, it's like Black Friday deals. It's like these, and it's very sad in a way that we can stand for days waiting, in line to get some Xbox that technically you could have just worked and bought it. Yeah, it ain't cheap, but it's not overly expensive. Like, you don't have to get a home loan to get it, okay? But yet, when it comes to budgeting or business or just financial planning, to be financially free, we don't do that. And that's just sad. But the good news for you, again, let me repeat that. So, the markets, the up and down, all of that, it's an opportunity. Kind of like shopping a Black Friday sale by yourself. Okay? This is very, very important. If you want to hear more about that, I know Robert Kiyosaki talks about that. Yes, but it's just wow. So this is one and I can talk more about the market, but just think about it. Think about all the pros and cons. Don't be stuck just on the negatives. Don't be just stuck with what they give you with the news or whatever outlet or the friends that you're listening to, if they're negative and stuff. Go out and actually look for both pros and cons about the market. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of good stuff about it. Number 2. This is very, very important, and I've talked about this. It's time to challenge your thinking. I've said this many times in my previous meetings, and a lot of you would be like, well, what does the thinking have to do with trucking? It means everything, because you are a business owner. And successful people are not successful because they have more money. Okay, but because they think differently than the other people. So consider these differences, okay? For example, most people think the love of money is the root of all evil. I mean, you've heard that saying, right? Well, on the other side, a successful person would say a lack of money is the lack of all evil. I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling there, but let's continue. Most people think get a good education and a good job. And I have nothing against smart people who go to school and stuff like that. There's a lot of families there. Yes, yeah. It's great. The problem is if you're stuck on that, okay? And, successful people would say becoming financially illiterate, like learning how to budget, P&L, balance sheet, all of that at bare minimum, is what will make you successful. It's a completely different, when you put just by having a degree or actually learning what that degree says, it's just completely two different perspectives. Okay, another way of putting this is most people will say, my company or a government, me being as an employee or a driver or some sort, they will take care of me. And I mean, again, I no disrespect, there's some great companies out there, and maybe for some people it's a good way of living. For you, as the audience, self-dispatched owner-operators, yes, business owners, it's important that, being responsible for your own financial well-being is what this allows you, which the business owner has to have that mentality, okay? I am responsible for my own financial well-being, okay? The government can't, 100%, protect me from all of what's coming and stuff like that financially. So yes, another comparison, for example, Let me just kind of skip through these. But if you're really interested, just let me know. We can go into this debate back and forth. But for example, most people say bad, debt is bad, period. Okay? Yeah, and, having to go into debt to buy a truck would be like, ooh, man, I'm going against that. Which, hey, yes, if you are trying to be really, really conservative, that's a way to go and, buy everything cash. But then successful people would say some debt is bad. Income producing debt is good. So like building up a fleet of trucks, for example, that's a good investment to invest in, and so forth. Many people will say, I cannot afford it. That's the reason why I'm not doing it. I'm just going to be a driver forever. The successful people think, what can I do to afford it? Okay? Thinking about the same thing, but just thinking in different ways make a whole difference. Most people think or say, I'll never be successful. A successful person says, how can I be successful? Okay? Completely different way of putting it. And guess what? When you start thinking the how, a lot of times your mind just does whatever is next obvious thing. You start actually...
When you change your perspective.
Yeah, you actually start doing those things. Money isn't everything. I know my daughter keeps saying this. I mean, she's 7 and I love her, okay? But Papa, money isn't everything. That's what she says when her other daughter just made, $10 from doing chores. And she's like, money isn't everything. I don't need those money. I'm like, well, yeah, but hey, you can do a lot of stuff with $10 these days, for her age specifically. But that's the difference, many people think like money isn't everything, but then successful people think the opportunity money affords are everything. So again, just two different perspectives, but I challenge you to start thinking as a successful person, as somebody who is not just positive, unrealistically. Okay, I'm not asking that. I'm saying when you put yourself in the thinking of how instead of I'm not going to, the opportunity starts to show up. Yes, but you must start thinking like the successful people to be successful. Okay, it's just simple that way.
To succeed.
Yes, to succeed. Yes, and then number 3. In many ways, I've dreaded to talk about this topic, about self-discipline, because it's a hard one. It's a very, very hard one. And, who am I to tell you guys about this? But it's unavoidable. It's actually one of the things, probably one of the hardest things that I've had to learn myself, but also one of the things that is responsible, for the success, or is something that does make people successful. Many people fail to achieve what they want in life because of lack of self-discipline. They start with the right path, but don't follow through because distracted or lose focus. Discipline is another word for management. And, a lot of people think, well, what is the difference? What does that mean? Management, it means more than just watching over something. It also means enforcing the rules that you've established. It's one thing that or you have some kind of what the budget is. Like you have all of these, to budget, I have this line, okay, and you just recording stuff. It's not just about recording what was the expense. Okay? The next level of budget is when you make sure that the money is spent on those things that you're supposed to,
Be spending on.
yeah, be spending on. It's kind of like there's two different perspectives of a budget. And like if you give it to, I don't know, like if you give $1 million to a group of people that they have no investment in it, they just got money, and ooh, yeah, we got $1 million.
They will most likely spend it.
Yeah, and they will most likely spend every single penny of it and make sure it doesn't really matter if it produces or anything. They got this 1 million. They have to spend it all. And if they have anything left, they will look at it as an opportunity to go and give it to somebody or waste it or something. Okay? Mm-hmm. Sadly, that's what a lot of...
That's what you
know,
hear a lot. Yeah. People wins the lottery and they just get a lot of money all at once and they just spend it. And,
yeah.
A couple of months, years later, they have nothing from
yes.
what they won.
Or like... I mean, what some politicians do. I mean, I'm just... But another way...
not getting that subject.
Yeah, but another way of looking at budgeting is, okay, this is what we need to spend it on, and we need to make sure that it goes specifically into this money. And if we save anything, great, it's actually saving, and we can put it back into the business to do more with, or maybe just put it aside so that we can grow more and reinvest it and stuff like that. It's a completely different way of looking at budgeting. And one way will always make you bankrupt. Another way will make you successful. It's just the facts. So, just learning about the budgeting and how to manage money is not enough. It's important that you also discipline and adhere to the mindset and practice what you've learned. Just learning about the budgeting and how to manage your money is not enough. You must also discipline and adhere to this mindset and to practice what you've learned. We've actually had to do a similar thing within our office too. Like, there's only so much rules and policies that you can write, and at some point you just have to enforce, because otherwise you will have safety issues. It's only so much that you can put systems in place. It's only, there's only so much you can do. There comes a time when you actually need to practice it. And once you do, the combination of practice and knowing is what makes you successful.
Adhering to and applying it, just like
yes.
you mentioned. Yes,
adhering and applying it. There's also this saying that I really love. Man, I'm trying to remember who it was, but live like no one else now so you can live like no one else later. It's very important, because don't be influenced by peer pressure. Who cares what other people are doing or what they think? Oh, I'm just going to go spend. Oh, I'm just going to jump. Oh, think for yourself. Logically. Okay? All these things. And if you apply them now, if you start doing this now, yes, it might take you a little longer to maybe learn this thing or to make it actually implement it. But with doing this in time, that's how you become a successful owner-operator. That's how I've always kind of wonder, like, how do I meet an owner-operator or a trucker, and we just start talking, and, you can see that he's not worried. He got a house or, a plane or something, and you're like, how is that possible? But it's all in time. Time is the key. A lot of people who think that they can get rich from delivering a $1 million load, it just never happened to me, never happened, to anybody. But for some reason, that's how sometimes we think and we expect or we dream on that, But who cares what the peers do when it comes to spending or showing off or whatever, okay? You focus on your budget and it does pay off, okay? It does pay off. Live like no one else right now so that later you can live like no one else. That's very, very important. Yeah, so all of this discipline, as I mentioned yourself, it's probably one of the hardest things about being an owner-operator or independent contractor, because you're the only one who can truly enforce it. I mean, with all the stuff that we do here at the office as back office support, we can only do so much. We can show you the right path, or we can talk about this right now, but you are the only one who can actually make this or enforce this. Yes, but learning how to discipline as an owner-operator, learning how to self-discipline is unescapable. If you don't have that figured out yet, I encourage you to really, really, make this a priority. Make it as your strong suit, not your weakness. Because otherwise, maybe it's not the best thing that you continue to be an owner-operator. Maybe it's best if you, go and switch to be a driver. Yes, because this is very, very important, the self-discipline. In conclusion, or, bottom line, as I say, all of this is just ideas, obviously. And the only way ideas can transform or be of any use to you is if you put them into action. Not tomorrow, today. Okay? Not just once, but in every day of your life. It's something that you learn as you grow and as you mature. I definitely will tell you, based on my experience, it's worth it. It's worth it. And then I have a picture here. Yes, change is hard at the beginning, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. Yes. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for meeting us here. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for sticking it out and being with us. We just bless you over there. Drive safe. Okay, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We do have a next BTO Zoom meeting. When?
Yes, it's going to be on November 14 at 6 p.m.
Yes, which is a Monday. Yeah, so congratulations to the winners, and stop by and see us if you're in town.
Yes.
We would love to meet with you guys. Have a blessed day.
Thank you all.